One thing about me, when I hear people make comments on YouTube or whatever, and on a video or something like that, I'm like, okay, I want to look and find out what are they into, because I want to dig deeper into it. And like Michael Brooks is an example. I like Majority Report. Now I looked at Michael Brooks. Now I still like Sam Cedar, whereas I see Sam Cedar. I still like his show, but Michael Brooks is on the one. And I like the fact Michael Brooks hasn't like veered off. Anyway, I do that with a lot of leftists. Nouveau Media is another one of them. They actually got together with Michael Brooks, and that's how I learn, because I'm like, all right, you have an opinion. Like people talking about capitalism's failing. When you talk about things are failing, they're saying, calling it capitalism. That's what that's implied. And okay, I'll look into your videos. One thing about Trump supporters and the fascists and the people who are yelling QAnon and all that is that there's nothing to find. Like on their channels, there's nothing to. I'm not saying that everybody that's a liberal or watches Sam Cedar or watches Michael Brooks is some philosophical liberal with a PhD. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I'll say that with conservatives, there's this rage, and there's nothing there. It'd be like me stating the Nazis. There's nothing there. You can look into the stuff, but there's nothing. There's no philosophical reasoning. There's no deep in thought reasoning. It's all hate. It's all anger, and it's all rage, and it's all they're angry because Trump screwed this up. Everybody knows it, and so they're doing what conservatives do, which is just lash out at everybody and everything, even other conservatives. I mean, I think it's two things happening right now. I think I'm gonna end it here. We are either watching the beginning of the fall of the West, and I say that as in these governors that are just now saying, almost a month in, that they didn't even know that this disease could spread asymptomatically, which is a lie. We've known about that for a long time. We knew that in the beginning. B, Trump attacking doctors, things like that, making out lies. Those are parts of a failing system, a system that is completely incapacitated. Is operating not off of logical reason, but operating off of pure hubris and off of pure politics. So they would do that. They'd sit here and downplay it and then come out of money. But we didn't know, dude. You shouldn't be in politics ever again, because it was your hubris and your arrogance and your goose stepping behind Trump that allowed this to get worse. And you have states now that still haven't declared a state of emergency. So we are either watching, and I'm talking about people allowing that to be excused. There are some things can't be excused. There are some things that people say or do that you should not. You should just say, all right, man, and go split ways with them. No hard feelings. I can't be around you no more. What Trump has done, what other conservative governors and mayors have done, cannot be excused. Period. Point blank. I'm done. So either they're going to face the due penalty for their sins and not even be able to be elected dog catcher in Bumsfuckville, Ohio somewhere. Either that or watching the fall of the West. I mean, you actually had people in the West talking about how we're going to let this thing run through the communities. It's amazing. For so long they've talked shit about people overseas, and now when they're faced with a crisis, they call people jihadis overseas, but they're jihadis for capitalism. How are they not? That guy over there is willing to risk getting us a bullet in his ass from a sniper from 2,000 yards away with night vision and all kind of advanced optics. He's willing to risk that to plant an IED in the road that may or may not kill the people he's trying to hit. You're asking people literally to go back to work, risk their families to protect capitalism. How is that any different than that person planting IED? Not. Ain't that different? So we're either watching the fall of the West, or we're watching the end of democracy. It's one or the other. You know, when I would haul gas, I'd meet guys and they talk about how, like, you know, when they train people, you know, they want respect, and if they can't get respect from people they're training and working with, then they would eventually be like, hey, you know, I can't have him back in my truck, or I quit. You know, I'm handing the keys. That to me is how I look at that. It's how I look at this whole coronavirus, you know, nonsense. That we either are going to stand up collectively as a nation, or the majority of a nation, and we're going to say, listen, Trump fucked this up. Free market capitalism did this. The fact that you wanted to cut the pandemic response team and all the other income, and I get into that now, all those things made this crisis worse. You downplaying it made this crisis worse. You know what I mean, calling a Democrat hoax made this crisis worse. Either we're going to do that collectively and you're going to get a progressive uprising, or we're going to have to really re-examine what America is. It's like when people lose. It's like when you talk about people's bond credit or bond rating drops or whatever because they're not paying back bonds and stuff. I mean, they don't go away. The city stop. I mean, they don't stop existing, but they are reevaluated. We're going to have to reevaluate America and the West. I think it's interesting that Boris Johnson was talking about doing it, letting the disease run wild, and then he himself got sick. Ain't that's God? That's God right there, man. That's God. Here you are thinking, in all your infinite wisdom and all this money and sitting up here in Whitehall and all that, and you're looking down on all them poor people and you're, you know, sneering at them, and then you get sick. That's why I'm always talking about socialism. I'm not doing too bad where I'm at. I'm thankful for God that I'm able to pay my bills and keep roof over my head and pay my car note and keep gas in the car and keep food in the cupboard and keep food in my refrigerator. I'm glad I can do that. But I always understand I'm not better than those people who are in those kind of situations, that are sick, that have to work. I don't think I'm better than them. I've said it many times before. All it takes, fall down the steps, have a bad car accident, have a bad divorce, some woman accuse you of sexual assault, you got to fight the case. You know, somebody claims you raped them. That's all it takes. It doesn't take much for you to lose it all. It doesn't. That's the thing about capitalism. When they talk about things are getting better, yes, for capitalism. That's not for you. So, anyway, peace.